Welcome to another episode of NAC Car Culture, your home of tough muscle cars, classic cruisers and high-performance imports. Kindly brought to you by the good people at NAC Insurance, Teng Tools and Mount Shop. Coming up on this week's show, we're off to Lake Karapiro for New Zealand's biggest one-day car show. And we find out what 4 + 4 equals at Curran Brothers Racing in Matamata. But first, meet this week's Mount Shop feature car, Faisal's Labour of Love GTR. Faisal was so taken with Nissan's R34 Skyline GTR that he wouldn't let himself near one till he could make that dream a reality.
I had a chance to basically test and try a few R34s before I bought this one, but I had promised myself that until and unless I can actually afford that particular one, I would not touch R34 GTR. And this was the first one I touched, and it came home with me. I was absolutely obsessed. Just that sleek look, that Japanese sleek look that it has always been something that I always liked. I'm originally from Fiji, and when you come from an island country like Fiji, you basically end up wanting to build things from scratch just because you don't have things available off the shelf and simply you can't afford it. I come from a farming background, so yeah, we didn't have the capacity to just be able to walk into shops and buy whatever we wanted. Came to Kiwi land, and basically, yeah, the Kiwi can-do attitude even re-strengthened the attitude that I had from back home. So yeah, a proud Fijian and a proud Kiwi as well.
That can-do attitude came in handy real quick. When the keys were handed over, the GTR was far from the car sitting before you today.
I found it, and it was in pretty bad nick. Engine-wise, mechanically, it was fine, but just to look at engine bay and everything, it was pretty bad.
The grand plan was to inject a bit of Nismo influence, and despite the mechanicals originally being the car's selling point, a post-track day oil leak became the catalyst for a serious shot of steroids in the go department. A tough Rips RB30 bottom end was ordered to kick things off, and the head was worked to Tomei spec. A pair of HKS GTRS turbos joined the action, while Faisal figured out the best way to get a whole lot more fuel to the uprated 1650cc injectors. Overkill perhaps, but certainly one way to fix an oil leak.
She's pumping out 1,010 horsepower at the engine, and that's more than keeping me happy. Around street, she's as tame as a normal car. I wanted something that you could basically get out of the garage, just give it a wash, take it down for a show, and once that's finished, maybe drive it down to a track, do the circuit all day, and then when you're finished with that, the following weekend possibly drive down to the drag strip and just drag it all day. And it needed to be reliable, so that's what I've got right now. It's just like any other normal car on the street. Yeah, the cams, lumpy cams do give it away when you're standing in traffic or at the red lights and people look at you and think, man, something's going on with that car. I didn't have loads of money or daddy behind me to look after me and throw the money and the checkbook at whatever I wanted. So anything that I wanted, I had to work very hard towards it. I have missed my meals to be able to put parts on this car. A lot of long hours. I worked on it myself, done most of the work myself. Get the thing done and get it right the first time. I didn't have the option of getting it wrong because it was going on to a car which I was going to drive. I needed it to be safe and I needed it to be doing a whole lot of hard work. I'm a person who strongly believes that you build something for your own self. If you like it, it doesn't matter what others think about it. As a icing on the cake, a lot of people, and most people out there actually really like this car. It's more than lived up to its hype. Yes, I was obsessed with the R34 GTR, but what this car has given me, it's, yeah, out of this world.
And you can check out a whole lot more GTR goodness by pointing your browser at themotorhood.com. Still to come on NAC Car Culture, we get our rotary fix at Matamata's Curran Brothers Racing, and things get laid back lakeside at the Stragglers Show in Karapiro. You're back with NAC Car Culture. We've got a visit to Rotary Guru's Curran Brothers Racing coming up a little later in the show, but first, we're off to the 10th annual Cambridge Custom and Classic Car Display hosted by the Stragglers, and all about raising money for a good cause.
Well, I suppose it all started down at down the lake in town there in Cambridge, and I think it started off with a couple of hundred vehicles and a bit of a barbecue, and as the years progressed, you know, more vehicles, more space needed, more this, more that, more people, more fundraising, you know. So at the end of the day, I suppose the kids are the winner, and so and it's a great thing to do for the community, you know. It's cool. Well, the type of vehicles that come, it's just a huge, broad spectrum of absolutely everything. You know, there's a little bit of Pommy stuff, there's a great deal of American stuff, obviously, a lot of hot rods, a lot of classics, a lot of cruisers. There's even a tractor turned up, I think, somewhere around the place, and it's not really fixed to one type of vehicle, it's just get here, you know?
Yes, we try and get here pretty much every year, and this is one of the better ones. We'd love to come here, and the weather seems to always behave itself for some reason.
It's nice to see so many people come out and support it, and I love walking around and seeing some of the cars, you know, seeing how people have actually built them. Also, you get to meet so many other hot rodders.
Originally held right in Cambridge, attention required by a few dodgy trees a few years back meant a last-minute change to the much bigger Lake Karapiro venue. And the Stragglers have done a pretty good job of filling that up too.
Yeah, like it's been a good event every year. We used to have it at Lake Takutu, and that always went off. We ended up here, sort of by accident, and then this venue's just become really big, and we really enjoy it here, so we've stayed here. But yeah, it's a good day to be a part of.
I've had the car for about 3.5 years, and it is a 1966 Dodge Coronet 500. I just loved the lines of it. I was looking at the Chargers, but they're out of my price range, so when I found this one, it was I just liked the lines of it, and it was something really different that not many people have one of those. So I found it online, Street Side Classics, Atlanta, Georgia. And it looked really good condition on. Obviously, I bought it unseen. I didn't want to go over, and cost a lot of money to get over there. So I just had a good look at it on with all the photos and stuff, and it came in pretty much as it looks now. But I had to change a few things on it, yeah, just to get it up to scratch for New Zealand standards. But it's a pretty solid car, so I didn't have to do too much. Got a 440. It's all been reconditioned and alloy heads and everything in it. 727 transmission. Got a limited slip in the rear end now, so I can get some traction. It's going pretty good. It hasn't done a lot of Ks yet, or miles. So, but no, she's it's fairly peppy. Our kids are all growing up on this stuff, so yeah, they can't wait. They're all in the car before I am, ready to go. So anywhere we can get to, any of these events, it's magic, and you can just see by the turnout here that everyone loves it.
Well, the truck's a 39 Chevy. It's a Canadian-built one, not as opposed to the Americans, which are, you know, she's built right-hand drive, known as the Colonial roof. It's running a 350 Chevy, small block with a 400 turbo transom behind that, with a 9-inch in the rear end. Still sits on the L200 chassis, It's got the L200 suspension in the front of it. It's just, you know, it's been a passion of mine for a long time, and 30 years later, and I've been able to do it with the help of, you know, straddlers, you know, Graham Cox of Straddlers. He did basically all the chassis work on it, and did the floor pan, firewall, and just basically got things lined up for me for when I moved on to do all the panel work. So it was something I had to learn. Had never done anything like that before, and so patience was one thing I had to learn, and yeah, I'm glad I've done it, and I love the result. It's probably not up to other people's specs, but it's up to my spec, you know, and it's my pride and joy. I myself was in transport for 24 years with heavy vehicles, and I wanted something different. And what I mean by something different is I wanted a vehicle that you don't see many of. When I found it buried in a garage right up in West Auckland, yeah, it just ticked all the boxes, and yeah, it was a yes on the spot buying it. You know, didn't really care what it cost. It only started with a cab and 2 doors and half the tray basically. Just learning, you know, on the internet where to find things over in the States. Making a few mistakes along the way too, costing me a little bit more coin. But I now know how to do that for when I do my next project.
And if you thought the Colonial Cab was a bit different...
Yeah, very hard to explain, but once you see it, it's sort of, most people scratch their head and ask what sort of drugs I've been on. But no, it's a bit of enjoyment, a bit of fun, and it's something different. I've always had a magazine with a vehicle out of America that's called the Lunar Landing, and they used an Oldsmobile rear half and basically did exactly the same thing. So really just sort of copied someone else's idea, and when the opportunity of the Cadillac come along, well, I sort of jumped at the opportunity and got into it, and that's the result of it really. Yeah, I call it the Dagalac. Hence all the Cadillacs, and my nickname's Dago, so it was the Dagalac's the name it's been given. It's basically all the running gear is 57 Cadillac, motor, gearbox and diff, and the rear half from the cowl back is all 57 Cadillac that's been narrowed up. The cowl is 29 Plymouth, the bonnet's a 38 Chev, and the headlight's 38 Chev, and the grille is just something that I made up. Made the headers, and yeah, basically just sort of, I'll make something and then go, nah, that doesn't look good. Make it again, and after about the third attempt, I finally sort of get it near enough. Gets a few strange looks, that's for sure.
It's a 58 Biscayne. It's running a 283. It's airbagged with the white walls and stuff to make it look a bit tidy. Bought it in probably 6 years ago now with my uncle. He found it in the States, and yeah, thought it was a really cool car. It had a lot of body work done to it, and had the rubbers and had a lot of expensive things really. So yeah, thought it was a really good buy and a really good car, and rang me up and said I bought a car. Yeah, I've got 2 of them. My uncle's bought in 3 of them. Used to drive his 58 wagon all the time and just developed a love for them. They're a bit different than your general 55, 56, 57 that everyone generally goes for. And yeah, just love them. The look, the big wide front, coming down the road, they just look, to me, really quite aggressive. Just that wide front and just the clean lines over the back. The interior's really cool. Yeah, I've always been a fan ever since I was a kid of them.
And accentuating the 58's lines are a few mild custom cues.
Yeah, I love that rockabilly look. That's real big in the States, especially with the rat rods and things. And then into the 50s, which this sort of brings across, which not a lot of people have really entered into here. The other 58 I'm doing is sort of along the same sort of theme and line.
Despite the damp start, the 10th anniversary of the show proved a huge success yet again, and everyone that went can feel pretty good about themselves too, with all proceeds going to worthy kids' causes locally. Even with the day's donations yet to be tallied, the Straggler Show has raised over $100,000 for charity to date. Great stuff.
In my opinion, they should be driven more often, but they get put in the back of the garage and only taken out for these special occasions. But yeah, it's good to see them on the road and good to see them, you know, the turnout and people coming, and even the weather being the way it is, it hasn't deterred too many people. So yeah, it's good to see them on the road and see them here and you know, them all be a part of this, you know.
Still to come on this episode of NAC Car Culture, we check out Brent's 4-turbo quad-rotor RX2 at Matamata's Curran Brothers Racing. Stick around. Welcome back to NAC Car Culture, your home of tough muscle cars, classic cruisers and high-performance imports. Right, thanks to the team at Teng Tools, it's time now to drop in on the crew at Curran Brothers Racing in Matamata.
This is Curran Brothers Racing. I run the place with my wife, and we've got one worker, Dylan, and basically build anything automotive. A lot of race engines, but basically anything from 2,000 horsepower engines down to 300 horsepower motors. We'll do anything. Dirt racing, track, drag racing, just anything. I don't know whether it's just my customer base, but we're pretty much all hoons, and we're more than happy to chop up your old car and make it cool. At the end of the day, people can moan, you know, we chop up old cars, but it's about hot rods, man. It's just a bit of metal. Build it how you want it and enjoy it.
Anything is possible, but a quick wander around the workshop leaves little doubt as to what Curran Brothers Racing have become the go-to guys for.
Pretty much the rotary thing come from when I was a kid, actually. My older brothers were into rotaries, and basically I had no choice but to get roped into them. And it's all I've ever done since I was maybe 19, 20, is work on rotaries as a job, so that's all I know. I struggle to change a light bulb at home, but I can build 2,000 horsepower engines. Mechanically, yeah, it doesn't have pistons. It's got a rotor that spins around and around and draws air in and pumps it out. It's just another air pump, a V8, a piston engine. They're just an air pump. It's about moving air efficiently and making horsepower, and a rotor is exactly the same. All motors tune the same. You do the same thing. You put air and fuel in and you burn the stuff. You know, it really is that sort of simple as a base, you know. Obviously when it comes to optimising power, you do things a little bit differently, but ultimately it's the same.
Mazda's rotary engine copped a bit of a bad rep in its earlier days. Squeezing a heap of power from the little power plant was never the problem, but doing that long term was a little more hit and miss.
It's only recently, in the last maybe 5 or 6 years, they've become reliable. I mean, we you know, back in the day we had issues as well. It was all learning, and now with the technology of good EFI systems and fuel systems and that sort of thing makes them bulletproof. You know, the tune is 90% of it. You get a good tune up in any engine, they're bulletproof. They'll go forever. Guys are looking at the rotary now, you know, as a form of moving their race car, because they are reliable. You know, people are showing they're reliable. We can have 1,000, 1,200 horsepower cars going round and round a track, getting absolutely hammered, you know, not getting looked after, getting hammered, and no temperature problems, no reliability problems, just good fun with 1,000 true 1,000 plus horsepower, you know, and it is an option now.
Brent's not saying this from the safety of the sideline either, and has campaigned his own RX2 over a number of seasons at the strip, although he does point out that he's more of an engine guy than drag racing, the quarter mile providing the only option to put his more potent combinations through their paces. And there's been a few of them dreamed up over the years. The RX2's original guise was in twin-turbo 2-rotor form, before a switch to 3 turbos and 3 rotors saw the ETs dip into the 6s. The move to the 26B quad rotor came next, and with a single turbo strapped to the side, the RX posted a 6.89 ET at 203 miles an hour. Where do you go from there? Well, a 4-turbo quad rotor seemed just the ticket. Certainly a bit different, and not following the herd is something Brent also encourages in his customers.
They are hot rods. Like my car, for instance, it's an oddball motor with the automatic behind it with 4 turbos on it, you know. It's just, in an old school car running 6s, it's just do what you want, we'll build it, it's easy, you know. They all work, it's just, again, moving air. And some people will say, can't do this, can't do that, but I haven't come across something you can't do yet, you know. It might not have the optimum performance, but these cars, who cares, you know. It's not all about performance, they're hot rods. It's just enjoying something you build, and yeah, it's just have some fun with them, you know.
That's us for another episode of NAC Car Culture. Coming up next week, we check out Jason Fell's twin-turbo Camaro from Hamilton. We stop by Auckland's International Motorsport. And Danem's BMW hits the track for round 1 of the Demon Energy D1NZ Drifting Championship. See you then. NAC Car Culture was brought to you by NAC Insurance, 10 Tools, and Mount Shop. Thanks, team.